The stars shimmered as the vast armada of the Galactic Union emerged from hyperspace. Warships bristling with weaponry took position above the planet Earth. Humanity's stubborn refusal to join the Union had finally crossed a line. Diplomacy had failed, sanctions had been ignored, and now Earth would be subjugated by force. In the lead battleship, Admiral Caldrix surveyed the situation. Standing beside him were the Terran shock troopers, the Union's elite soldiers, genetically modified giants, clad in exoskeleton armor and armed with weapons that could disintegrate cities. "Begin the landing," Caldrix commanded. "Crush their resistance." Meanwhile, in a quiet farming town in Nebraska, Jed Harris wiped sweat off his brow. The harvest was weeks behind, and his old tractor was broken again. He didn't have time for another alien invasion. The first Union dropships descended, blasting craters into the wheat fields. Jed leaned on his pitchfork, chewing a blade of grass as the towering super soldiers emerged, their visors scanning for hostiles. "You're trespassing," Jed drawled. The lead soldier, easily 3 times Jed's size, stepped forward. His amplified voice boomed, "Surrender, human. Resistance is futile." Jed spat out the grass and scratched his chin. "Futile, huh? Let me show you something, Dot." He raised the pitchfork, its metal tines glinting in the sun, and pressed a hidden button. The humble tool hummed to life, transforming into a glowing energy weapon. Jed swung it lazily, and the nearest soldier exploded in a shower of sparks. The rest of the squad hesitated, their advanced targeting system struggling to comprehend what had just happened. Jed cracked a grin. "See, my granddaddy fought off the last alien invasion with a shotgun and some elbow grease. My daddy? He made this here pitchfork with alien tech leftovers. Me? I just want a farm, but y'all don't seem to get the message." The battle spread across the farmland. The Galactic Union super soldiers unleashed plasma cannons and railguns, leveling barns and silos. But Jed fought with the ferocity of someone who just wanted to be left alone. His pitchfork sliced through armor. EMP pulses fried enemy drones, and his deep knowledge of the land turned the terrain into a weapon. At one point, Jed lured an entire platoon into the swamp behind his property, where decades of human ingenuity had created the perfect mud trap. The soldiers sank like stones, their advanced armor unable to adapt. Back in orbit, Admiral Caldrix slammed his fist on the console. "How is this possible? He's a farmer. Send reinforcements." As the battle raged, humanity rallied. Across the globe, farmers, mechanics, engineers, and ordinary people armed themselves with improvised weapons and ingenuity. A retired mechanic in Detroit reactivated a decommissioned mech. A group of teenagers in Tokyo hacked Union drones and turned them against their creators. A grandmother in Brazil used her cooking pots as electromagnetic disruptors. The Union strategy, designed to crush centralized armies, crumbled against the decentralized chaos of humanity's resistance. Back in Nebraska, Jed faced the final wave. The Union had sent their champion, a 10-foot-tall cyborg bristling with weaponry. The two squared off in the middle of the ruined wheat field. "You cannot win," the cyborg intoned, aiming a cannon at Jed. Jed chuckled, spinning his pitchfork. "Maybe not, but I don't have to win. I just got to teach you a lesson." With a roar, the two charged at each other. The fight was short but brutal. When the dust settled, Jed stood victorious, his pitchfork sparking but still functional. In orbit, the Union fleet retreated. The cost of subjugating humanity was too high, their advanced technology rendered useless against stubborn ingenuity and a refusal to quit. Weeks later, Jed returned to his field. The scars of battle were still visible, but the land was resilient, just like its people. He stuck the pitchfork into the dirt and sighed. "Next time they come, I'm doubling the corn yield. That ought to scare 'em off." And with that, Jed got back to what he did best: farming, the one thing that no alien force could ever take from him.